and welcome to the latest instalment of the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. How are we doing this evening?
Tired. Tired, but good.
Literally off the bus and straight on to recording. That's dedication for you. So we'll kick off with some news that we had during the week that Megan Bell is away on loan to Hearts. Surprised?
Yeah, very surprised. Did not see that coming at all. Of all of the players that potentially might go out on loan, I didn't see Megan as being one of them. But I guess it makes sense from a Megan point of view of getting more game time at Hearts. She'll strengthen Hearts and give them some much needed goal scoring ability, which I think will help both of them out. So I guess it makes sense if Joe doesn't see her as long term, like playing the week in, week out. So it's probably for the best at the moment, but was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, I think it's easy to forget, Alan, that she's only, 22, so she's still got loads of football to play, but were you kind of surprised at it? I think it was kind of blindsided a lot of us, to be fair.
Yeah, as most of the transfers involving us this season, it's kind of came right out of the blue. I didn't see that one coming, but I suppose it makes sense. Megan's not been getting a run of games with us, and I think that's exactly what Megan needs to play week in, week out. And it helps strengthen Hearts, who will hopefully take points off other teams as we go into the top six. So it could be a really good move all round. But it's transfer Megan to go and get some games under her belt and make an impact. Then she started today, so we'll touch on the loan review in a wee bit.
Well, we'll just come into it now, and it kind of gets out of the road since we're talking about loans, Alan. So do you want to just give us a wee quick roundup of the loans for today?
Yeah, a quick roundup. Lucy Inman was on the bench again for Queen's Park. They've won again and strengthened their position at the top of the table. Summer Laird extended their loan. She was the last of the youngsters that extended their loan through the week. She was on the bench. Spartans narrowly lost at Hearts. Mason Clark started for Hamilton and scored just at the end as Hamilton got their first win of the season. I believe she was assisted by Becca Taylor, who came off the bench. So good game time for them. Megan played in goals for Partick, and Jenna Ferguson came off the bench for that game as well. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing somebody dirty and leaving somebody out. And Kayla Jardine started for Marvel, but they get a bit of chasing at Hibs, beating 5-0. So generally speaking, a good week. There are plenty of minutes in the legs here, players out on loan. So the club are obviously happy with all the loans, given that every single one of them is now being confirmed as being extended to the end of the season.
Yeah, Cara, I don't think we're surprised that anybody's kind of extended their loan, but good to see that they're getting minutes and they're going to have that kind of in and around regular football until the summer, and then we see what happens with them after that.
Yeah, it's kind of the best of both worlds for a lot of them in the sense that they're still training with us 2 days a week, and then with their respective loan clubs, and especially Mason and Becca seem to be doing quite well at Hamilton. Nice that they finally got a win, which I think will boost their confidence. They're now only 3 points off at the bottom of the table, so there's every chance now that they could secure staying up, which would be good for them. But we didn't see the goal, but from what I saw on Twitter, it was a nice back heel from Mason Clark to get her goal, and she seems to be scoring quite often now, which is good. I would like Summer Laird to get more game time, but it's just what Spartans need to do to try and get wins in games, and it's just unfortunately not working that way. But everyone else seems to be doing quite well, so it's good for them all to get more game time.
Yep, best of luck to them for the rest of the season. So we'll go on to today's game. We're on the road again, up to Aberdeen. Our first bus trip for the supporters group, which was quite successful, I would say. And we started with 5 back in goals. Cathy Hill, Medag, Docherty, the back line, Macaulay, Cornett, McLean, and a debut for Liv McLaughlin. We also had Lizzie Arnott kind of the number 10 position, and Rowe and Hardy were kind of weird front two. But what did you think of the team when you seen it, Car?
I was happy with it. Well, I think it was a bit harsh on Vic Esson, the goalkeeper, to start a couple of games and then be out. And I don't know if that's a running thing. She's going to put one in for a couple of games and switch him out or whatever. But nice to see Liv McLaughlin come on and play 90 minutes, which I was surprised at. I didn't think she'd get a full 90 minutes, but obviously fully fit and raring to go, so which is nice. Front was kind of weird, but I guess against Aberdeen we thought maybe we could switch it up and give minutes to multiple players, which seemed to kind of work. So overall, fairly happy with it, but just a bit confused by the goalkeeping situation.
Yeah, we'll come to that later on. Alan, what did you think of Liv's debut? Obviously, we're just kind of at the start of the game, but I think she did quite well in the difficult windy conditions up at Aberdeen.
I thought there was a wee bit hit and miss from her. I think the pace of the game seemed to catch her by surprise, and right through the game there was times when maybe she wasn't quite ready for the physicality of it, but she certainly showed some good touches. She's certainly keen to make the early passes and get the ball moving quickly, which is exactly what you can always hear Joe from a touchline, pressing on the players to get the tempo up and to keep the tempo up. So I think when she beds into the team, which will have to be quickly given that she's only on loan for a few months, that she'll be an asset. I just with an extra midfielder in the team with Rachel Rowe playing up front, I thought it maybe impacted the balance a wee bit, and the players weren't quite as defined in where they were playing today.
Yeah, well, say that, but Rachel Rowe seemed to relish playing in that kind of front two car because she had plenty of chances. That kind of, well, obviously she did score a couple of goals, but that first 20 minutes she was unlucky not to open the scoring earlier than she actually did.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed to enjoy it, whether that's going to be her natural position. I think she enjoys being a 10 more and works better as a 10, but it worked. It gave us what we needed in that, that early part of the game, but just, hitting the bar, a few kind of wide and not quite getting there, but she was doing all the right things and seemed to be flying about where she needed to be. And there was a lot of interchangeability. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to say it anyway. And the team where players were moving around a lot. Lizzie was, back and forth as the 10 out wide doing, wherever she needed to be, which was quite nice to see there was that fluidity, but just wasn't coming off at the start of the game. But eventually we kind of got there, but the conditions didn't help. It was a bit of a horrendous windy day up there.
Yeah, Alan, we also had chances from Chelsea. Like Kathy had a couple of chances, like Lizzie had a chance. We were hitting the woodwork, we were hitting the top of the stands, balls were going at the park. It was just a crazy day and crazy conditions.
Yeah, I think any football player would much prefer to play in rain than that sort of wind. It was horrible to play in. You could see that both teams had issues with it right through the game. Particularly playing against the wind. But first half, lots of good chances, lots of good positions we were in, and just the final sort of effort and goal. The Chelsea one was a free header. She'll be really disappointed. She came and met that really well, but maybe just got a wee bit under it and went over the bar. But we just pressed Aberdeen right back. They couldn't get out against the wind, and we did go into up at half time, but would have been really disappointed. Probably we didn't score more.
So at the 33rd minute, we did eventually break the deadlock, and it was a nice goal to open the scoring from Rachel Rowe.
It was indeed. It was a long range, absolutely smashed the ball just exactly where it needed to go, and the keeper jumped for it, but no chance she was getting a hand to it. And just, I don't know what happened after it. Her and Nick seemed to have words. I don't know what was going on there, but it was all a bit friendly banter, I think. But just another tremendous goal, and she seems to have opened her account now, and every week is getting more and more chances and seems to be scoring a lot more of them, which is good. We need that. We need more players to be scoring goals when they get the chances. So it was nice that she got it. But another one that was just a hit it and it worked. we need more of that from outside the box for their field to get more long range goals and trying to walk it in. Because I think later on we had problems. We were trying to walk it in a little bit too much, and it just wasn't coming off. And it was, I think, annoying Joe a little bit that we were trying to do that.
Yeah, I think we should touch on just before that how we had Rachel Rowe try to do was it the Rabona just as the ball was like going to go out to play, and then Nick was just like walking away laughing like what's she trying to do, and then Rachel Rowe scores an absolute banger, so she knows what she's doing.
Possibly not the best place to do it, right in front of Joe Potter.
No,
If you're actually going to pull it off.
Not when the ball's also like blown about the place and going out for a throw in anyway, but she tried it. It comes off in other games, so we'll let her off it. And then just 7-8 minutes later, we get our second goal. Rachel Rowe again.
Yeah, typically throughout the game, Mia McCauley was doing a lot of good work and being a typical danger on the right side. And she's toasted our fullback and pulled the ball back. Kirsten McLean's not moved it on, and Rachel Rose finished off. It was a really good team goal for sort of in the middle of the box.
Yeah, so then we go in at half time, 2-0 up. I think in the conditions, 2-0 was kind of justified. Probably could have been more on another day, it probably would have been, but the girls kind of fought it out and went in probably quite happy with the 2 goals.
Yeah, they did what needed to be done, if I could speak. There wasn't much more they could have done other than potentially use the wind to their advantage because it was behind them. So maybe a few more long shots might have gone in, but they did enough. I thought maybe it'd be a bit more, but they got through the first half, which needed to be done with, no minimal issues, I'd say. Liv looked lively. She had a lot of not chances, but she was creating a lot. She was having a right battle with number, I think it was 10 from Aberdeen, who was right on her heels, pulling her back all over the shop. So they did enough, and I thought we'll come out the second half and we'll get a few more, and that will settle the nerves. But obviously we had other ideas with the wind pushing the ball back into our faces.
I think as well, we must touch on the referee in the first half, or the lack of refereeing, should we maybe say, because they just seem to get worse every week, and I think this one takes the biscuit.
I think he took the pack of biscuits, to be honest with you, because the lack of control of that game was deplorable for the referee and his officials, and it was clearly no talking to him. Both Joe and Jamie made their feelings very, very clear to both the near side linesman and the referee particularly, but he was completely unmoved. I totally get Aberdeen have got to try and spoil a game. If they come out just to go toe-to-toe with us, they know they'll get absolutely battered, but they've come out to spoil the game. But the ref's he's got a duty of care to protect the players, and some of the challenges are the sort of challenges that are going to injure players. So we'll make a point of complaining about refs after we've come home with 3 points, but Rachel Rowe particularly was getting kicked all over the park. There was late challenges getting in, no attempt to play a ball at times, and the ref was just completely ignoring it. So absolutely deplorable performance for an official, but we come to expect that.
Yes, Alan says we come to expect it, but it shouldn't be something that the players are having to deal with. The players are trying to talk to them. I even turned to you after 5-10 minutes and said he needs to get control of this or somebody's going to get hurt. And then in the second half, it's going to come to Nick. Did get hurt, and Nick never goes down, but it looked a very dangerous challenge. Potentially could have been a red card for the player, but he just never had control as soon as the game kicked off, and he's very lucky that a player never got seriously injured because he would have been hearing for Joe.
No, I know we say refs are horrible, they're non-league or lower league referees that we end up getting, but he's genuinely one that I hope that I never see again. Like, that is the worst refereeing performance I've seen in a long time. It's just horrendous. Like, the Joe shouting at the linesman, like, go and tell him, like, that's a foul, it should be a booking, whatever, and he's saying, don't worry, I'll tell him. 2 minutes later, if that, the same nearly identical challenge is put in, and she's shouting at the line, you should have said to him, and he's telling her to calm down, when he's clearly not communicating with the ref. The ref's either not seeing it or is just ignoring things, and it just turned into chaos at points because nothing was being done about it. So they were doing even more of it, which I understand. If you get away with things, you're going to keep doing it until you eventually get told. But it's just horrendous, and it should be something that you're playing far north you've travelled, the wind's horrendous, it should just be go and play the game, and then he's just almost ruined it by someone potentially nearly getting injured and just everybody being raging at him. I've never heard a whole crowd, other than at the men's game, screaming at the referee like I heard today.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. However, we move on. The second half, we came out thinking hopefully we can kick on, but Jenna Fife, Alan, talk us through what happened with Jenna Fife.
Yeah, it's not the first time this season we've shown a struggle to play it for the back in strong wins. Off the top of my head, I want to say it was maybe a game against Hearts we really, really struggled early in the season against strong wins, but it was a struggle to get the ball played long, and we're trying to play it for the back, and Jenna makes what can only be described as an absolutely awful attempt at passing out and passes it straight out to, I'm sure it was Bailey Hutchison that got the ball and scored. And she's like 20 yards for goal, clean through and goal, runs through, beats Jenna. And right away, Jenna knows she's made a mess of it. She's absolutely distraught. And, it was good to see the defenders just get around her and just try and G her up a wee bit and try and make sure she got her focus back for the game. Unfortunately, it's one that gets added to people's memory, mistakes that Jenna's made, but she's been good this season. She's been very good this season. However, I'm personally not a fan of rotating goalkeepers. I don't know if that plays into it, but certainly conditions haven't helped.
Yeah, definitely. Mistakes happen in that, but I think Joe's kind of line it was, if we're going to take risks, then these things can happen, but we have seen these kind of things happen too often, and it tends to be Jenna that's on the end of it. But was it just one of these things, or was it just Jenna Fife?
Well, I don't know. I think the wind does play a part in it. I think she's trying to just play the ball and it gets a little bit unlucky. The Aberdeen player's right there and all she has to do is kick it and it's in the back of the net. But when it's not consistently happening anymore, but when it is still happening and you've got those memories of seasons gone by when that was a consistent thing, you then start to think, have we kind of gone back down that road, or is it just a one-off with the wind and everything going on in that game? I don't know, but I don't like it. Obviously, I don't like it. No one's going to like that, but I'm giving Jenna credit that she has been fairly good and fairly consistent this season with not conceding, other than the very start of the season when obviously Joe had just come in and there was mistakes happening. But hopefully next week we go back into it, get another clean sheet and it's all good again. But it's unfortunate that it became then a very close game and it became very tense because there's only one goal in it and anything could happen in that moment to potentially derail what we'd already done. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It's just one of those things, and the wind played a part in it, but got to maybe do a little bit better and think a bit better about what to do in that situation.
Yeah, so then it was obviously 2-1. Alan, no more goals were added. We made some substitutions. Jane Ross came on for Rachel Rowe. Rogan Hay came on for Chelsea. Jodie McCleary and Sarah Ewens come on for Lizzie Arnott and Rio Hardy, so good to get some minutes across the players. We had a couple of other chances, but we're kind of playing into the wind at that point. They also had a couple of chances, maybe probably no ever going to trouble Jenna, but it was just one of the kind of second half when it was just like everybody just wanted to get it over and done with and get back down the road.
Yeah, I think very quickly after we'd conceded that goal, it became quite an attritional game, and it was just a case of do what we need to do to get 3 points and get out of there. You know, I don't think Jenna was particularly troubled after that. They had a couple of shots, you know, a free kick for 25 yards. They decided to take a shot on. It was straight at Jenna. You know, she held on to it well. Anything else Jenna had to do was just sort of routine. We weren't massively troubled, but certainly Aberdeen had a lot more sort of territory. But we also had chances, even despite the wind. You know, we were at times doing exactly what we needed to do, which was keep the ball on the deck and keep it moving. And on another day, we'd have scored 3 or 4 in that second half. Some hesitation in taking shots on and taking an extra touch or trying to lay it off, and just not quite working when you'd like players to just run onto it and take a shot first time.
Yeah, I think the defence, I think it was Maddie Finney that plays for the under-19s.
Yeah.
Quite a good game, and then their goalkeeper made quite a few good saves as well. So combination of the conditions, their kind of defence done all right, and their poor finishing really. But we got the 3 points, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the season, those are the games that you need to get the points out of to go and win titles. So we did what needed to be done. You know, hopefully no injuries, everyone's fine, and we move on to next Sunday with a week to prepare for it. It's not much more you could have asked, other than obviously we expect more goals, but at the end of the day, with conditions like that, it's just one of those things. We got through it, and other than the ref being horrendous, and we probably should have had a penalty in the last 2 minutes of the game, we did enough to get the points.
Yep. So with that, Alan, who would you say your player of the match was? Difficult one this week, I think.
Yeah, probably the two that stand out for me. Didn't even actually make a poll that we put up on Twitter, but I thought the best players for us were Mia, who was a danger on the right wing, and I'd say my player of the match was probably Tess. I thought Tess done really well at the back. You know, it was quite a physical battle up there. Bailey Hutchison's a handful for any of the defenders, but I thought Tess was massive in terms of making sure that we came out of that without dropping any points.
Car, what about yourself?
I mean, you could really pick any of them. I think most people had a relatively good game, all things considered, but I think for me it's Rachel Rowe. She gets 2, good goals. The first one especially, a really good goal. Was everywhere, was all over the park, playing in a position that she's not really played in often. So for me, I think it was Rachel Rowe, while putting up with being kicked and dragged all over the place.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. She gets kicked about the park, but she still just laughs it off with that big cheesy grin that she's got. So yeah, I would go for Rachel Rowe as well. So on to next week, we play Dundee United in the Scottish Cup. 4 o'clock kickoff. Tickets are on sale now on the Rangers website. Do we change the goalie again next week, Alan?
Generally, we've seen Vic get cup games, but it probably throws a spanner in the works that Jenna's had that howler today, because do you want to just let her stay in and get that out of her system? So I'd expect to see 2 or 3 changes. Probably at least one of the wingers will get changed. I'd expect us to have two centre forwards up front again. But I'd expect a much more comfortable game next week. We're obviously back at home, hopefully far better conditions, and we'll go and do something towards replicating the Dundee United result a couple of weeks ago.
I'm getting deja vu here because I'm sure there was a mistake for Jenna before and we were like, do we keep her in or do we put Vic in?
I know, I guess we'll find out Joe's kind of pattern or plan with the goalkeepers. If Jenna stays in for another game and then the next one after that Vic's back, she's playing two and then swapping them out. Or if Vic is going to be the cup goalkeeper, and then I guess we'll find out if she swaps them back out to Vic next week. But I don't, maybe it's just a case of maybe Jenna was ill or something. You know, you don't know. The fact that she swapped them out just all of a sudden, we'll never know unless Joe wants to tell us her secrets, but she keeps those pretty close to her chest. So I don't know. But for me, I wouldn't be mad if Jenna was still in goal next week. It's Dundee United. We should have enough to beat them comfortably. I wouldn't be mad if it was in. So for me, it doesn't really matter either way. But I think I'd like Jane back in. I'd like proper centre forwards and Rachel Rowe in behind. You know, keep everyone tight, get every early result, and then we can change it out. Sorry, I'm fried. I'm so tired.
Also, I'll stay with you the now, Car, because there is a potential for Lisa to come back in next week. She's kind of up to speed now. She's been on the bench the last couple of games, which I think has just been more to get kind of more training in than anything. So there's potential that she could come in for her return from her ACL injury.
Yeah, I think it'd be more a case of a sub. I wouldn't think she would start the game. I think you'd leave Tessa in there to begin with, and then, you know, as the game goes on, give her some minutes, maybe towards the end, depending on how she's doing. She said herself she's not played in a back three, so she's not that comfortable, maybe up to speed with it as much as Tessa's been as our kind of centre back at the moment. But it'd be good to see her back, get her back up, rearing to go, and then she can bleed back in for the rest of the season, which it's good to see. She looks like she's running pretty fit. She looks like she's handling it quite well, which is nice to see after such a horrible injury that she's back, raring to go, and she looks buzzing and happy to be back in and around the squad and her usual jolly self.
Yeah, definitely. So go to score predictions, Alan. Do you want to give us a score for next weekend?
Maybe fall just shy the last Dundee United game. I think we'll score 9, but we'll keep a clean sheet and get back to that.
Car?
With it being a cup game, you know, things can happen. I'll say 8-1 to Rangers.
Well, I'm going to go 8-0. I think to Rangers, obviously. Yeah, go home now. So yeah, 8-0 for me. So Alan, I doubt you'll have had a look at the score predictor, but any early indications of how people have got on?
Still sort of totaling it up. Got all the scores in. Safe to say, absolutely nobody had Hamilton winning, so there's no 6 correct results this week. You know, I think that was a bit of a shocker today. Hamilton winning, and quite comfortably so, at Dundee United. Obviously, a result we've not touched on. No many people picked Glasgow City to win today. However, we're delighted to say that Glasgow City did indeed win 1-0, which leaves us 6 points clear at the top of the table. The score predictor will be finished and updated tomorrow and up on the Facebook group, and it'll have a break next week as we go into cup action next week.
Yeah, perfect. Car, do you want to have any thoughts on Glasgow City 1, Celtic 0?
6 points clear. I mean, obviously it's helpful to us. A draw would have also been helpful to us, but I think we saw the goal watching it on my phone, and it looked like just kind of a lucky shot cross, ends up going in the back of the net with the wind. But, you know, it helps us out. We're then 6 points clear. You know, we've got a few games before it, but we get to Celtic on the 18th with the potential to go 9. You know, it's looking good for us. We've not lost a game yet. I probably just jinxed us there, so hopefully not. But do you know what I mean? We're looking comfortable. We're looking ruthless in games. We're throwing everything out. We're doing everything that Joe wants. So it's a nice position to be in at the moment. So it's obviously helped us, and obviously it'll help them as well. The boys bolster their squad, feeling happy that they finally won one of the big games.
Yeah, and we should also touch on the fact, in case you've been living under a rock and haven't found out, that the cup final is now the 24th of March at 1:30 instead of the 23rd at 3 p.m. It's totally changed. And we will be running a bus to that. There's a couple of buses actually, so if you join our Facebook group, you can get the details and join in the fun to travel to the travel to the cup final. I'm tired. I'm done now. So I think we'll wrap it up there. My thanks as always to Car and Alan for joining me.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks to you, Laura.
Right, and we'll see you next time.